This video is about Amaterasu restores light to your village until Shadow Demon strikes. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. In the luminous realm of Takamegahara, the heavenly abode of the gods, Amaterasu, the radiant goddess of the sun, watched over the world below. Her golden rays bathed the earth in warmth and the life, healing the scars of winter and ushering in the blooms of spring. Villagers in the valley of Yamato thrived beneath her benevolent gaze, their laughter echoing through the lush fields, and their homes illuminated by her life-giving light. Yet in the shadows, sinister threat brewed. For deep within the cavernous darkness of Yomi, the underworld of the damned, a malevolent force stirred. The shadow demon, Kurzai, long imprisoned and cursed to dwell in eternal night, had perfected his dark magic. With each new moon, Kurzai grew stronger, absorbing the despair of lost souls and plotting his return to the world above. One fateful day, a flicker of disturbance rippled through the celestial sphere. Amaterasu sensed the encroaching darkness, a warning from the wind whispering through the trees. She turned her gaze from the serene skies, her heart heavy with the weight of the impending doom. In Yamato, the villagers were oblivious to the brewing storm. They prepared for the spring festival, a celebration honoring the sun goddess. Colorful lanterns adorned the streets, and laughter resonated like a harmonious tune among them. Eldest of the village, Elder Yuki, stood tall under the ancient cherry blossom tree, his voice booming with pride. "Let us dance and rejoice, for Amaterasu shines upon us. We are blessed by her light, and our hearts are full." The villagers cheered, raising the cups filled with sweet sake, the aroma of grilled fish wafting through the air. As dust painted the horizon, Amaterasu descended to the earth, cloaked in shimmering radiance. Her divine presence brought joy and serenity to the festivities. The villagers beheld her, their eyes alight with admiration and hope. "Bo, great Amaterasu," Elder Yuki proclaimed, "we honor you. Our village flourishes in your light. May our devotion guide your brilliance forever." With a gentle smile, Amaterasu reached out her hand, showering the villagers with glimmering petals that danced like tiny stars against the evening sky. "Your faith fuels my light. Dear children, you are the reason I rise each day." But as the jubilant celebration continued, a shadow uncoiled in the depths of Yomi. Kurzai, fueled by envy and rage, unleashed his dark magic, summoning a tempest that rippled through the fabric of reality. A swirling vortex of shadows enveloped the village, extinguishing Amaterasu's light as darkness seeped into the hearts of the people. The revelry turned to chaos as screams pierced the air. The villagers stumbled and fell, their once bright spirits dimmed by an overwhelming dread. Elder Yuki, his face etched with fear, called out, "Protect your hearts, stay close to one another." As darkness consumed the land, the anxious crowd huddled together, searching for solace in one another. Amaterasu, sensing the panic, summoned her divine power, trying to pierce through the thick veil of shadows with radiant beams of light. Yet Kurzai retaliated with fury, weaving a net of shadows that ensnared her luminous rays. "A mere goddess cannot thwart my return," he roared, his voice echoing through the heavens, dark and chilling. With a wave of his clawed hand, he unleashed shadowy wraiths that swirled through the air, snatching the villagers into the depths of despair. "Enough!" Amaterasu shouted, her heart aching for the souls trapped in darkness. She gathered her strength, channeling her energy into a blinding beam that slashed through the night. Light erupted from her fingertips, banishing the wraiths back into the shadows. But Kurzai was relentless. He conjured a massive storm of darkness, sending tendrils of shadow to lash out at the goddess. Every strike roared with ancient power, threatening to eclipse the light forever. "Your light shall dim, and in my realm, you will fade," he shrieked, emboldened by his hatred. Amaterasu, unwavering, began to understand the gravity of the battle ahead. She needed champions, brave souls willing to confront the darkness and reclaim their village. As the shadows loomed ever closer, she called upon the spirits of the land, ancient guardians who once stood against the darkness. From the depths of the mountains, the warrior spirit Sasaki emerged, his armor gleaming with starlight. "I shall defend the light, Amaterasu. I have long awaited this moment." Beside him, the fierce archer Yuki, nimble and fierce, materialized, her bow strung tight with arrows crafted from the light of the sun. "We shall fight by your side. Together, we will restore hope," Yuki declared, determination blazing in her eyes. As they assembled, a rumble echoed through the earth, and the ground split open, revealing a path leading to Yomi. The villagers, witnessing the divine champion's rise, gathered their resolve. Elder Yuki raised his hand, calling them to muster their courage. "Together, we are stronger. Let us unite our spirits against this darkness." Arm in arm, the villagers chanted ancient songs of protection, their voices intertwining like threads of light weaving through the encroaching shadows. Amaterasu felt the courage, their hope igniting her own essence, fueling her radiance. "Feel the warmth of the sun, my children, let it guide you," she roared, a surge of light coursing through her veins. As the sacred alliance prepared to march into the shadowy abyss, Kurazai sensed their growing resolve. He summoned his monstrous minions, beasts shaped from despair and malice, emerging from the dark chasms of Yomi to stand against them. "Foolish mortals, if you dare challenge the shadow, you will suffer and drown in your own fear." Kurazai's voice resonated like a thunderclap, shaking the very foundation of their world. With the first wave of shadow monsters surging forward, Sasaki drew his sword, the blade shimmering with celestial light. "We fight for our home, for Amaterasu," he cried, charging into the fray. Yuki, swift as the wind, unleashed a storm of arrows, each imbued with the essence of the sun, striking true against the encroaching beasts. The villagers, united in their courage, fought alongside the gods, wielding whatever they could find, the sticks, stones, and the indomitable spirit of hope. Amaterasu soared above, her radiance casting a protective dome over them. With each clash of steel against darkness, her heart surged with the strength of 1,000 suns. The battle raged, light and shadow colliding in a dazzling display of chaos. Yet, in the depths of the shadows, Kurazai watched, calculating his attack. He would not be defeated so easily, the light could be snuffed out and the world plunged into eternal darkness if he bided his time. As the battle unfolded, the stakes grew higher. Trust and betrayal intertwined as whispers of doubt echoed through the hearts of the villagers. What if we are not strong enough? What if we fail? Fear gnawed at them as they fought. But through the chaos, Amaterasu call broke through the turmoil, a beacon of hope that reignited their determination. "You are not alone, I am with you. Together, we can vanquish this darkness." As the villagers rallied, fueled by Amaterasu light, they pressed forward, determination flickering like wildfire in their hearts. The Kurazai would not allow this insurgence to go unpunished. With a wave of his hand, he unleashed a shadowy beast, larger than any they had faced before, a creature born from malice and despair, an embodiment of fear. The monster roared, shaking the very ground beneath them, and the villagers faltered, doubt creeping back in. "Can we truly conquer this?" they gasped, hearts racing. But Sasaki stood tall, his resolve cemented. "We fight for our homes, our families. We cannot let fear dictate our fate." He charged forward, his sword gleaming against the darkness, igniting a surge of courage within his comrades. With a deafening clash, the battle raged on, and as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, Amaterasu focused her power, determined to banish the shadows once and for all. The stage was set for a battle that would echo through the ages, a desperate struggle between radiant hope and consuming darkness. The world held its breath, awaiting the outcome of this legendary clash, where destinies intertwined, and the fate of Yamato hung precariously in the balance. Would light prevail, or would the shadows engulf them all? Only time would tell, as the dawn broke and the shadows stirred, promising an epic confrontation that would reverberate through eternity. As the dawn's first light illuminated the valley of Yamato, a fierce battle unfolded, shaking the very roots of the ancient cherry blossom tree beneath which Elder Yuki once stood. Amaterasu hovered above, her divine presence shimmering in the breaking dawn, while the villagers rallied beneath her luminescent shield. The air crackled with energy as shadowy beasts surged forward, each one howling with malice, their grotesque forms feeding upon the villagers' fears. "Hold your ground," Elder Yuki shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Remember the sun that warms our lands. Feel its power coursing through you." Inspired, the villagers tightened their grips on makeshift weapons, their hearts beating in rhythm with Amaterasu's radiant heart. Sasaki, his sword glinting like a star fallen from the heavens, charged towards the monstrous embodiment of despair. "For Yamato," he bellowed, leaping into the fray. The beast, a swelling maelstrom of shadow and void, roared in response, its gaping maw revealing rows of jagged teeth that seemed to swallow the very light around it. The ground trembled as Sasaki met the beast head-on, his sword slashing through shadow, igniting streaks of light that pierced the darkness. The creature recoiled, hissing in pain, and in that moment a flicker of hope ignited among the villagers. "Together!" Yuki cried, rallying the villagers. "We are the children of the sun, we will not falter!" With renewed vigor, they rushed forward, their collective spirit weaving an unbreakable bond against the encroaching shadow. Meanwhile, Yuki, the fierce archer, climbed a nearby hill, her heart steady as she knocked an arrow infused with the very essence of Amaterasu light. To the skies, she whispered to herself, her fingers steady on the bowstring. With a deep breath, she released the arrow, its flight a graceful arc through the air, illuminating the darkness like a comet. The arrow found its mark, striking the beast's shoulder. It roared in fury, shadowy tendrils recoiling as light poured into the wound. "Strike true, my friends," Yuki shouted, her voice filled with fierce encouragement. "We are the light that will drive out the darkness." But Kurazai, watching from the shadows, felt the tide shifting. Rage bubbled within him as he summoned his power, weaving a new spell of despair. "Fools, do you think yourselves heroes?" he taunted, his voice echoing like thunder. "Let me show you true suffering." With a wave of his clawed hand, he unleashed a swarm of shadow wraiths, dark phantoms twisting through the air, seeking to snuff out the flames of hope. The villagers cried out in fear as shadows clawed at their hearts, whispering words of despair, planting seeds of doubt. Sasaki was the first to feel the weight of those whispers, his resolve wavering for just a moment. "What if we are not strong enough?" he muttered, nearly faltering beneath the burden of uncertainty. But Amaterasu's voice surged within him, a gentle reminder of the light that burned brightly within each heart. "You are stronger than you know, Sasaki. Embrace that strength." With a sudden rush of clarity, he shook off the shadows, his sword raised high once more. "You will not take our spirits," he shouted defiantly, charging into the heart of the wraiths. The villagers followed suit, their collective courage spiraling upwards, merging with Amaterasu's divine light. Yuki's arrows flew with precision, piercing the hearts of the wraiths, scattering them like dust in the wind. As the battle raged, the ground beneath them trembled, each clash of light and dark resonating through the valley. The noise was deafening, a symphony of chaos, but amidst it all, Amaterasu descended, her presence radiating warmth and hope. "Fear not, children of the sun." Her voice rolled over the battlefield like a soothing balm. "Feel the light within you, let it guide your hands and steady your hearts." With renewed resolve, the villagers surged forward, empowered by her divine warmth. But Kurazai, the embodiment of shadows, unleashed his final weapon, a monstrous beast, larger than any they had faced, a nightmare made manifest. It emerged from the depths of Yomi, its form a writhing mass of darkness, as glowing with a malevolent hunger. "Witness the end of your pathetic light." Kurazai roared, the ground shaking beneath the weight of despair. Sasaki and Yuki exchanged a glance, understanding the gravity of their situation. "We must unite our strength," Yuki urged, determination burning in her gaze. "Together, we can vanquish this creature." As the monster approached, the villagers tightened their formation, standing shoulder to shoulder. They felt the warmth of Amaterasu's light wrap it around them, a protective cocoon against the encroaching shadows. "Focus your energy," Elder Yuki commanded, lifting his hands to the heavens. "Let the sun's radiant brilliance flow through us." United, they closed their eyes, summoning the power of the sun. Streamers of golden light erupted from their hearts, intertwining with Amaterasu's presence until a shimmering barrier formed outward, a radiant dome that pushed back against the encroaching darkness. But Kurazai was relentless. "You think your unity can save you?" he sneered, unleashing a torrent of shadowy blasts that struck the barrier, sending ripples of light cascading outward. "Hold fast," Sasaki shouted, his voice ringing with determination. "We are more than mere mortals, we are the children of light." As the shadows lashed against them, the villagers stood resolute, their faith unyielding. The light began to pulse, growing brighter with each heartbeat, illuminating the battlefield with a golden hue. "Now," Yuki called, an arrow notched and ready. Together, with a synchronized breath, they released their power, merging their energies into a single, blinding beam that erupted from their barrier. The beam shot forth, illuminating the darkness, striking the monstrous beast with the force of 1,000 suns. Kurazai's laughter died in his throat as the light enveloped the beast, its form dissolving into shimmering dust. The shadowy wraith screeched in terror, scattering like leaves in the wind. "No, this cannot be!" Kurazai howled, retreating into the depths of Yomi, his dark magic fraying as the light consumed it. As dawn fully broke, the villagers stood in the aftermath, breathless yet triumphant, their spirits soaring. Yet beneath the surface, the scars of battle lingered. They gazed at one another, the weight of their shared struggles glistening in their eyes. Amaterasu descended, her presence enveloping them like a warm embrace. "You have faced darkness and emerged victorious. You are the light that will guide this world." Tears of relief and joy mingled with the freshness of dawn on the villagers' cheeks. Sasaki stepped forward, his heart swelling with gratitude. "We owe our victory to you, Amaterasu. Your light ignited the flame within us." Elder Yuki nodded, his voice thick with emotion. "And to one another, we found strength and unity, a lesson we shall carry forth." They stood together, basking in the warmth of the sun, their hearts intertwined with the sacred bonds of hope and resilience. Yet, as they celebrated their victory, a shadow lingered in the air, a whisper of the impending storm. Beware, dear children, Amaterasu cautioned, her gaze turning towards the horizon, where dark clouds still lingered, remnants of Kurazai's wrath. The darkness may retreat, but it will not rest. It will return, stronger than before. Sasaki clenched his fists, determination igniting once more. Then we will be ready. We will not falter again. The villagers nodded, a unified front against the encroaching shadows, their spirits unwavering. Amaterasu smiled, her heart swelling with pride for her faithful children. Together, you are unstoppable. I will be your guiding light, now and always. And as the sun shone brightly over Yamato, the villagers, warriors, and gods prepared for the battles yet to come, their laughter echoing through the valley, a melody of hope that would ring through eternity. The legend of their courage would be told for ages, a testament to the power of light against the shadows, a story that would weave itself into the very fabric of the world. But deep in the shadowed recesses of Yomi, Kurazai seethed, plotting in silence, waiting for the perfect moment to unleash his vengeance, and so, the cycle of light and shadow danced on, an eternal struggle for the hearts and souls of all beings. The dawn over Yamato shimmered with golden light, yet the ominous clouds of Kurazai's malice hung heavy in the distance. Amaterasu stood among the villagers, her radiant form a beacon of hope, but her heart felt the weight of impending darkness. Remember this moment, my children, she spoke, her voice a melodic whisper that caressed the air. Your unity has forged a bond stronger than any shadow, but let not your spirits wane, for Kurazai will not rest until he exacts his vengeance. Elder Yuki, standing at the forefront of his people, nodded solemnly. We will remain vigilant. Together, we are the protectors of Yamato. His declaration ignited a flicker of determination among the villagers, a warmth that pushed back against the lingering chill of despair. Yet, just as the sun reached its zenith, a chill wind swept through the valley, plunging the hearts of the villagers into an icy grip. From the depths of Yomi, a dark figure emerged, cloaked in shadow and fury. Kurazai had returned. Foolish mortals, he roared, his voice like thunder rolling across the sky. You think you have won? I will shatter your light and drown this world in eternal night. He raised his clawed hand, summoning a storm of shadows that swirled and twisted around him, forming grotesque shapes that danced like nightmarish wraiths. The villagers recoiled, fear creeping back into their hearts like a venomous serpent. Sasaki stepped forward, brandishing his sword, its celestial glow cutting through the darkened air. We will not cower before you, Kurazai. With Amaterasu as light, we will fight. Brave words for a dying hero, Kurazai hissed, his laughter echoing like a funeral dirge. He thrust his hand forward, unleashing a torrent of shadowy tendrils that shot toward the villagers, aiming to ensnare their spirits and crush their resolve. Shield your hearts. Elder Yuki cried, raising his staff high. The villagers raised their weapons, drawing upon the warmth of Amaterasu's light, creating a barrier that shimmered against the encroaching darkness. The shadows lashed against the barrier, sending ripples of light cascading through the air. Sasaki felt the power of his comrades surge within him. We are the children of the sun, we will not fall to darkness. He charged forward, leading the villagers as they surged toward the shadowy tide, their spirits ignited with resolve. Together! Yuki cried, her voice cutting through the chaos, as she loosed a volley of arrows, each one imbued with the essence of light. They soared through the air, striking true against the monstrous forms of the shadow beasts, illuminating the battlefield with bursts of brilliance. But Kurazai was relentless. He summoned dark creatures from the depths of his wrath, each one more terrifying than the last, abominations shaped from despair, their eyes glowing with hunger. Let them taste the true meaning of fear, he shrieked, sending his minions crashing into the ranks of the villagers. In that moment of chaos, the darkness seemed overwhelming. A monster shadow lunged for Sasaki, jaws agape, but in a heartbeat he sidestepped, his sword slicing through the air, cleaving the creature in two. The beast disintegrated into a cloud of darkness, but more surged forward, relentless. Push through, Yuki shouted, her arrows flying with deadly precision. We cannot let them break our spirit. She climbed the top of a boulder, her heart racing as she surveyed the battlefield, desperate to keep her comrades focused. Kurazai, seeing his minions faltering before the light, unleashed a wave of darkness that cascaded over the villagers like a tidal wave, snuffing out their courage. Feel the despair of those who have come before you, he howled, the shadows swirling around him, coiling like serpents. Sasaki felt the weight of despair pressing down, a whisper clawing at his mind. What if we are not strong enough, he thought, doubt creeping in like a dark fog. But then, he remembered Amaterasu's radiant warmth, the love she had bestowed upon them. Suddenly, a surge of light coursed through him, igniting the very essence of his being. We are strong, we are united, he shouted, shaking off the shadows that threatened to consume him. Let us show Kurazai the strength that comes from our bond. Amaterasu, observing from above, felt her heart swell with pride. "You are the light in the darkness, fight with all your might." Her voice rang through the air, a clarion call that swept across the battlefield, rekindling the flames of determination within the villagers. With renewed vigor, Sasaki led the charge, his sword a beacon of light as he cut through the darkness. The villagers rallied around him, their spirits merging into a brilliant wave of energy that surged forward, pushing back against the tide of despair. Yet Kyozai, furious at the resurgence of hope, summoned his most potent weapon. "Embrace your doom," he screamed, tearing open the fabric of reality to unleash a monstrous creature, a grotesque colossus formed from the very shadows of Yomi, its eyes filled with malevolence. "Stand together," Elder Yuki commanded, his voice booming against the chaos. "This is our moment, we cannot falter." The villagers pressed forward, their collective strength weaving a tapestry of light that shimmered against the encroaching beast. Sasaki, with his sword raised high, charged toward the monstrosity, the force of his resolve igniting the very air around him. Just as he reached the beast, it unleashed a guttural roar, its massive limbs swinging with brutal force. Sasaki rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding a devastating blow. "We must find its weakness," he shouted, his voice rising above the cacophony. Yuki, perched atop the boulder, fired arrows that glowed with Amaterasu-esque light, aiming for the creature as glowing hot, but they merely bounced off its thick hide. "We need to strike as one," she cried, desperation in her eyes. "Gather your light," Elder Yuki shouted, raising his staff. The villagers, united under his leadership, placed their hands atop one another, channeling their energy into a single, radiant beam that glowed like the sun itself. "Now," Sasaki shouted, rallying everyone as spirit. Together, with a thunderous roar, they unleashed their combined power, sending a brilliant beam of light spiraling toward the beast, illuminating the battlefield with a radiant glow. The light struck the creature's heart, and for a moment it paused, howling in rage and pain. The shadows around Kyozai twisted and writhed, sensing the shift in power. "You think you can stop me? I will envelop this world in despair." He raised his hands, summoning a blinding storm of shadows that swirled around him, attempting to snuff out the light. But the villagers stood resolute, their hearts linked together in an indomitable pulse of courage. "We are the children of the sun," Sasaki bellowed. "We will not let you take our light." They poured every ounce of strength into the beam, pushing it forward, breaking through Kyozai's darkness. With a deafening clash, the light met the shadows, a brilliant explosion of energy that sent ripples through the air. Kyozai howled in fury as the light consumed him, dissolving his shadowy form into the very essence of despair he had tried to wield. "No, I will return," he screamed, his voice echoing through the valley as he was consumed by the light, his darkness dissipating into nothingness. And in that moment, the valley of Yamato was awash in brilliant sunlight, each villager bathed in warmth, their hearts filled with triumph. The shadowy creatures melted away, leaving behind only echoes of their terror. Amaterasu descended to the ground, her presence a warm embrace. "You have faced the darkness and emerged victorious. You are the champions of light." Her eyes sparkled with pride as she surveyed the villagers, their spirits glowing with resilience. Elder Yuki, gasping for breath, raised his staff high. "We did this together. In unity, we found strength." The villagers erupted in cheers, their hearts soaring, the weight of despair lifted. Yet, in the depths of Yomi, a flicker of darkness stirred, a whisper of vengeance that Kyozai's rage had not fully extinguished. His essence, though diminished, lurked, plotting and waiting for the moment to rise again. As the sun shone brightly over Yamato, the villagers celebrated their hard-won victory, dance and laughter mingling in the air. But lurking in the shadows of their triumph was the reminder that the battle against darkness would continue a cycle as old as time itself. Sasaki stood amongst his comrades, the warmth of Amaterasu-esque light illuminating their faces. "Let us remember this day, not just as a victory, but as a promise to protect our light against the shadows that will return." Yuki nodded, determination etched into her features. "We will prepare, together. We will stand against any darkness that dares to threaten our home." With the promise of unity, the villagers turned their faces. As the sun rose high over the valley of Yamato, the villagers reveled in their hard-fought victory. Laughter and song filled the air, blending with the scent of fresh sakura as they danced beneath the ancient cherry blossom tree. Amaterasu, radiant and proud, descended to join them, her golden light illuminating the celebration. "Rejoice, dear children," she proclaimed, her voice a melodic hymn. "You have triumphed over the shadows, your hearts united in courage. Today, we honor your spirit and resilience." The villagers cheered, their voices ringing like bells, but deep within their hearts, a foreboding whisper lingered. Sasaki, standing at the forefront, felt the weight of an unshakable sense of unease. The battle against Kurazai had sown seeds of doubt. He could not shake the feeling that darkness still lurked beyond the horizon. Amaterasu, the victory is sweet, but he started, his brow furrowed with concern. Kurazai swore vengeance. He will return. We must prepare. Yuki, the fierce archer, stepped forward, her bow slung across her shoulder. I share your fears, Sasaki. The shadows may recede, but they will not vanish. We must train, fortify Yamato, and remain vigilant. Amaterasu listened intently, her luminous presence flickering slightly with the weight of their words. Indeed, she replied solemnly. The darkness is a force that never rests, but remember, my children, where there is light, shadows cannot thrive. Elder Yuki raised his staff, attention shifting back to the villagers. Let us honor our victory, but also heed Amaterasu's wisdom. Together, we will forge a stronger bond, sharpening our skills and preparing for any storm that may come. The villagers nodded, the spirit of unity rekindled. They began to train under the sun's watchful gaze, honing their combat skills while deepening their connection with one another. Days turned into weeks, and as the season shifted, so did their resolve. Yet, as they trained, whispers of unease began to circulate. The winds carried tales of strange occurrences in distant lands, villages vanishing, crops withering, and shadows creeping into the hearts of men. One evening, the sky darkened unexpectedly, a shroud of ominous clouds swirling above Yamato. The villagers paused in their training, exchanging worried glances. The darkness returns, Sasaki said, feeling a chill crawl down his spine. Just then, a figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in darkness. It was a spectre, its features obscured, but the air crackled with malevolence. I bring news, brave warriors, the figure hissed, voice echoing like a lamenting wind. Kurazai gathers his power. He seeks allies in the darkness to wage war upon your light. Fear rippled through the villagers, but Amaterasu stepped forward, her radiant aura pushing back against the encroaching shadows. Speak, spirit, she commanded. What do you know of Kurazai's plans? The spectre bowed, its form flickering like a dying flame. He has summoned monstrous beings from the depths of Yomi, creatures of despair and darkness, to rise against you. His army grows, fueled by the lost and the hopeless. Sasaki clenched his fists, resolve hardening within him. Then we must strike first. We cannot let him gain strength. Yuki nodded, her determination unwavering. But we cannot do this alone. We need allies, warriors who will stand with us against the rising tide of shadows. Amaterasu's gaze turned outward, across the valley of Yamato to distant lands. Seek the spirits of the ancient warriors, those who once faced the darkness. They will guide you. That night, as the stars shimmered like diamonds overhead, Sasaki and Yuki gathered the villagers at the ancient cherry blossom tree. We will embark on a quest, Sasaki declared, his voice steady. To summon the spirits of those who fought valiantly in ages past. We will not face this darkness alone. With hearts aflame, the villagers set forth at dawn, traveling through dense forests and across rolling hills toward the sacred mountaintop where the ancient warriors were said to dwell. Each step felt heavy with the weight of their mission, but with every stride their resolve solidified. As they climbed the mountain, a thick mist descended, obscuring their path. Shadows danced among the trees, and eerie sounds echoed through the air. Stay close, Yuki urged, her fingers twitching near her bow. We must not let fear take hold. But the shadows were not idle. From the depths of the mist emerged twisted beings, monstrous shapes formed from nightmares, twilight wraiths, their hollow eyes glowing with malice. Turn back, mortals, they hissed, their voices a cacophony of despair. You tread in realms beyond your understanding. Sasaki stepped forward, gripping his sword tightly. We will not yield, we are the children of the sun, and we will fight for our light. With a battle cry, he charged at the nursed wraith, slashing through the mist with his blade. The light of his sword illuminated the darkness, revealing the grotesque features of the creatures. The air crackled with tension as Yuki unleashed a flurry of arrows, each one finding its target amid the swirling shadows. But the wraiths were relentless, swarming them like a turbulent storm. The villagers fought valiantly, but the shadows pressed in, threatening to consume them. We cannot let them overwhelm us, Elder Yuki shouted, rallying the group. Focus your light, channel it into your hearts. As they fought, Amaterasu's voice echoed in their minds, urging them to embrace the strength within. Remember, you are the light, let it guide you. With that rallying cry, the villagers felt a surge of power coursing through them. They united their energies, weaving a barrier of light that surged against the shadows. The wraiths recoiled, their forms disintegrating against the radiant glow. Sasaki seized the moment, leading the charge against the remaining wraiths. Push forward, we seek the ancient spirits. With renewed vigor, they pressed onward, the glow of their unity cleaving through the darkness like a beacon. After what felt like an eternity of battling the shadows, they reached the summit of a mountain, a vast, sacred plateau. The air shimmered with ancient magic, and there, standing before them, were the spirits of legendary warriors, their forms radiant and ethereal. "Brave children of the sun," one spirit proclaimed, his voice resonating like thunder. "We have awaited your call. Darkness stirs once more, and we shall answer your plea." Sasaki stepped forward, awe and gratitude washing over him. "We seek your guidance and strength to fight against Kurazai and his monstrous army. Will you stand with us?" The spirits exchanged knowing glances, a spark of ancient camaraderie igniting in the air. "We fought for the light once, we shall do so again." With a collective roar, the spirits joined the villagers, their ethereal forms merging with the warriors of Yamato. The power of the ancient surged within them, a symphony of light and hope, ready to face the impending storm. But Kurazai was not idle. In his shadowy lair, he sensed the gathering of light, his rage bubbling like molten lava. "They dare unite against me?" he sneered. "I shall unleash my true power upon them." With a wave of his clawed hand, he summoned a tempest of shadows, a harbinger of chaos that surged toward Yamato, intent on obliterating the village and all who dared oppose him. As the tempest approached, Sasaki and Yuki felt the ground tremble beneath their feet. "We must return to Yamato," Sasaki urged, determination burning in his gaze. "We cannot let the darkness consume our home." With the spirits of the ancient warriors at their side, they raced down the mountain, the urgency of their mission driving them forward. The air thickened with darkness, and the shadows twisted, forming monster shapes that roared in anticipation. As they reached the village, the sky darkened further, clouds swelling ominously above as if the very heavens mourned. Kurazai's laughter echoed, a chilling reminder of the threat they faced. "Your light will falter, all shall be swallowed by the void." The villagers gathered, their hearts pounding in unison, warriors standing shoulder to shoulder, ready to defend their home. "Together!" Elder Yuki shouted, his voice carrying above the chaos. "We will stand against this darkness." Sasaki raised his sword high, now infused with the essence of the ancient warriors. "For Yamato, for the light!" As Kurazai unleashed his tempest, shadows surged forth like a tidal wave, threatening to engulf all. But the villagers stood resolute, channeling their combined power, the light igniting in a blinding blaze as they braced for impact. With a deafening clash, the light met the darkness, creating an explosion of energy that reverberated through the valley. Amaterasu's voice rang out, a clarion call of hope.